who celebrates their fifth wedding anniversary with their staff members and only the husband's best friend. She said, you are dead. Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ita. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. If you're new here, welcome. Don't hesitate to subscribe. And if you're already a part of the family, like I always say, I do not take your support for granted. So today we're going to be doing a movie review. I'm sure you guys already know from the title. We're going to be reviewing Bimbo Ademoye's new movie titled To Be a Friend, T.B.A.F. Like we always do in our movie reviews, I give you a brief synopsis of the movie. We talk about some themes. We also talk about our favorite characters, favorite scenes in the movie, and I tell you like my favorite actor, and that's what we are going to be doing today. So like I said, the movie is To Be a Friend, T.B.A.F, which stars Bimbo Ademoye. Of course, she's also the producer of the movie. Stars Uzor Arukwe, stars Kunle Remi, and Deyemi, why did I forget his name? Deyemi Okanlawon, and some others. You know what? Let me just drop the synopsis. Oh, before I do that, I have my note here, so I'm going to be referring to my notes. I wrote down some things so that I don't forget. The movie follows Kunle Remi and Deyemi Okanlawon's character. Kunle Remi's character is Tunde, yes, and then you have Tega Obaro, who is Deyemi. They are like child or their friends in university. It just follows through their life in university. Just shows the kind of friendship and the bond that they have. It goes through to after university, where they had like a break in communication for about 10 years, and then Deyemi Okanlawon, I think, let me just call them by their character's name, Tega, had to go and search for Tunde, which is Kunle Remi's character. Found him, found out that he had been going through some difficulties, brought him into his company that he founded. And then Bimbo Ademoye, who is Fola in the movie, who was actually Tega's crush while they were in school. They also like found each other again after a couple of years, got into a relationship, got married, had a child, and then they started having issues in their marriage because of the workload and running his own company, the demands of running a company, the pressures, working late, that kind of thing. And then on their fifth wedding anniversary, he and his wife had an argument, and then he woke up and found blood stains on his shirt. The house was kind of in disarray. While they were talking, his friend Tunde came in while they were trying to find out what's happening. I can't remember what happened. Where's my wife? Police came in, arrested him, took him to prison, and he was there for a couple of years because he was charged with the death of his wife, and trying to find his way in prison, trying to get used to that life, while he made a friend with Professor Rugged, who is Uzor Arukwe's character in the movie. And they've just formed this great friendship, and he even helped Uzor Arukwe pay for his daughter's surgery. The daughter was supposed to have a heart surgery, and so it just follows through. And then later he found out that his wife was not actually dead, and everything was a plan between his best friend Tunde and his wife Fola, and broke out of prison with his friend Professor Rugged, and justice was able to be served. Yeah, that's just like the brief intro of the movie. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. For me, I would say that the movie has a lot of prospects. I was actually expecting a bit more, maybe because the last movie, if I'm correct, the last movie Bimbo Ademoye released, Broken Hallelujah, was up there. It was really top notch. So I was actually expecting this one to top it. I don't know, my expectations were not met. That's just me. It's not a bad movie, not at all, but there were just some things that did not just feel concrete, in my own opinion. Some things did not just feel concrete in the movie. I believe that it could have been done better, but it is not a bad movie. It is a beautiful watch. It is a beautiful story. The actors, amazing. all the actors, I think they played a very, very fantastic role. Now we are going to talk about some of the themes that were raised in the movie. And now the first one I'm going to be talking about is dream swap. Now in the movie, Tunde was the one who came up with the idea of building an IT company. He was going to be the CEO, and his friend was going to be his friend Tega was going to be the COO. He shared the idea with his friend. He was the one who developed the idea, but life happened, and he could not achieve that dream. When he and his friend reconnected, he found out that the friend had already built the company up to a level, and then he was not the friend actually offered him the role of COO instead of what he would have wanted, CEO. And that led to the next thing we are going to talk about, which is jealousy. Now, because of this, he was jealous. He was jealous of the success of his friend. He was jealous of what his friend has achieved. In his mind, he felt like he is the one who should have achieved this. He is the one who should be in that position.
Best friend. I'm your best friend, yet you stole my idea. The idea that led to the success of that company. Every idea that led to the success of that company came from me.
So because of that, he was jealous, and that's why he planned with his friend's wife to accuse him of, offing the wife and taking over his life, taking over the company, being the acting CEO, and doing absolutely nothing to exonerate his friend from those charges. Of course, he was the one that put him in there. Friendship is a beautiful thing for people who have had friends that, have stuck with you, helped you. Like from what they showed in the movie, based on the life they lived on campus, Tunde was always there for Tega. He was always ready to lend a hand. He was always like, my brother, my friend, my this, always trying to, to just to be there for him. For Tega, he was able to achieve the success that he also desired. And from the point of view that, this is somebody that has helped me, I feel that he bringing Tunde into the company was a form of repayment for the way that Tunde helped him while they were in school. Like the way it was portrayed, it was like, they lost communication after school. And I had an issue with that, because this is your best friend, and after school, is it that there was no phone? Like it just like it was just confusing to me that your friend for 10 years, this is somebody that is your best friend. You people just graduated from school, you did your convocation, and that was the end. You did not hear. Like I find it really difficult to just accept it like that. I don't want to say it's a possibility, but if this is somebody you call your best friend, I feel that this is somebody that you would know, your parents will know each other, you have his phone number, you have his house address. How come you were able to stay 10 whole years without hearing from this person? I found that kind of unbelievable in my own opinion anyway. And also bringing somebody in like 3 weeks later after you met this person, you are making him COO, you are bringing him into your life, you are bringing him into your job, your work, without any kind of vetting. I think everybody should have it at the back of their mind that people change. Of course, you don't need to think that people will change for the worse, but I just feel that 3 weeks is too short of a time for you to just, bring somebody in, give them access to everything that is important to you. And I don't know. That's just what I feel like. It was just too short of a time, and knowing also, because it was also shown that what's his name now? Tunde had a kind of not temper, but he has always been somebody that always goes for what he wants. So if you know that that kind of person can be really, really brutal, they can be very, very desperate. If they want something, they go for it. So, and I also feel that Tega should have also put it in his mind that this is something that both of you plan to, start together. And if you are bringing him in at the level that you have attained, like, wouldn't you have sensed, I don't know, but that's just my opinion, but I just feel that he should have sensed that this might not be the best of ideas. Yes, that's one thing I want to mention. The next theme I'm going to be talking about is the issue of, being a workaholic. In the movie, we see how it affected his marriage. We see how it affected the relationship that, he had or didn't have with his child. We also saw how that was the reason why the wife was able to go to his friend and confide in him, his friend, that is, I'm talking about Tega now, his wife had issues with him coming back late from work, not spending time with the family, always traveling, and initially in the early days of their marriage, when he complained that, I'm sorry, the board meeting, lasted, took longer than expected, she was like, yeah, that's the life I signed up for. But 2 years down the line, the woman was tired of having to be the one to stay up late, having to be the one to put their son to sleep, explain. And I can understand her, from my own perspective. But what I did not really like about the whole thing is, now going to his friend to, like, the friend works with him, the friend knows. So, like, what are you expecting? And then you also agreeing, like, you also agreeing to do that kind of thing to set up your husband for, murder. And I'm like, no, that shouldn't have happened, that shouldn't have happened. Having your job take over your, like, there's nothing wrong in being ambitious, there's nothing wrong in, setting goals and trying to achieve them. But I believe that as somebody who is married or who has other commitments, then you should try and create a balance between the two, so that one doesn't seem to be suffering over the other. And in this case, it was his marriage, his family. And when the wife called him a deadbeat, we could see how he reacted to that. He wasn't happy because in his mind, I know he felt like, I'm doing my best. Yes, that's one thing that I really want to, like, focus on. When people say that they are hustling for money to give their family a better life. Should I say this? Yes, I'm going to say it. When you say you're struggling to give your family a better life at the expense of that family, I don't think they appreciate it. Because let's be honest, there's so much money can do, and there's a lot that money cannot do. I know that a lot of people who are absentees because they are hustling, I know that the people who are at the receiving end of that would rather have more time than have all the money. Like the fact that, they brought up that issue, they brought up that aspect in the movie. And I believe that, when Tega is rebuilding his life, he's definitely going to take that into consideration, that there should be a balance between working and building a family, making money and spending the money, like that kind of thing. Because no matter how much money you have, you still need to be able to be present in your family. You need to be able to be present, for things that are important to them. Your child is graduating, your child's birthdays. It's not just about sending them more trips or buying them the most expensive things. Like, you need to be present in their lives and their, day-to-day things. Yeah, so I think those are the two themes I'm going to be talking about. Before I go any further, let me just say this about the cast. The person who played the younger version of Kunle Remi, I mean, big ups to whoever it is that casted that guy. The mannerisms, the voice was 100. It was perfect. It was perfect casting for the younger version of, of Kunle Remi. That's Tunde's character. It was perfect. I think they tried to do something similar with Deyemi's character, but I did not just see it. I did not see the resemblance facially. I didn't see the resemblance in their, characters and mannerisms. I didn't see the same thing for Fola, which is Bimbo Ademoye's character. I didn't see the resemblance between herself and this Kunle Lion's daughter. Now I can't remember her name. I think I'm going to leave it on the screen. I can't remember her name, but the only resemblance between both of them was that they were both light skinned. But apart from that, there was nothing similar. And Bimbo Ademoye, her younger self's character, did not see anything. So there's no way we can compare their voices or mannerisms to know if the casting was. But for me, I think for Kunle Remi's character, that was a fantastic casting. One of the issues I had with the movie is when they were celebrating their fifth wedding anniversary, and on the table they had Tega's wife Fola, they had Tega's friend Tunde, and then they had his staff members. I'm like, no, nobody celebrates their fifth wedding anniversary with just the husband, the wife, the husband's best friend, and then other staff members. Like, Where's the wife's friend? I understand that that scene was important because they did like a flashback of that scene where that was where she gave Tunde the confirmation that yes, she was going to, drug her husband and, make the whole create the whole setup and everything. And it was also that night that the whole setup happened, so I can understand why that scene was important. But what I did not like was the fact that it was just those people there. I mean, it would have been better if it was just both of them, or I don't know. That's what I think. It would have been better if it was just both of them. And he even said it like when he stood up to surprise his wife. He was like, "My best friend, my wife, and staff members. Where are your family members? Where is your wife's friend? Like, who celebrates their fifth wedding anniversary with their staff members and only the husband's best friend?" Like, I didn't understand that. So for me, that was a no. Another thing that I wasn't comfortable with was there was an issue with the timeline from when he got married to, or from when they got married to when they had a baby to when the whole setup happened, and the number of years he spent in prison. So I think they made a mistake in that timeline because they showed the boy was 2 years old. They started having issues then, and then after that 2 years, after saying that the boy was 2 years later, the next thing we saw they did like 5 years wedding anniversary. So I wasn't sure if they had their son 3 years after getting married or if it was before, because when you're watching the movie you could see that they had the baby quite early in the marriage, and then all of a sudden it's 5 years but the baby is still 2 years, and then the man goes to prison and comes out of stays in prison for 2 years, but the boy is still like, there's no, I don't know, there was just an issue with timeline. So it was like the age of the boy was just stuck in a place. So I think that should have also been taken into consideration while they were doing that. The whole timeline thing, it was a bit off for me. I didn't understand it. If you've seen the movie and you understand it, you can explain to me in the comment section. Now we're going to talking about my favorite scenes from the movie. The first one is when Fola, that is Bimbo Ademoye, was telling Tega, Deyemi Okanlawon, that she was pregnant and she was like born in the oven, and it was like agege bread.
Having bread for dinner?
Oh, silly.
What?
Baby, what's that?
Bread.
Oh, goodness. What's another name for bread?
Agege bread. What?
I really enjoyed that scene because it was funny. It felt very natural. I really enjoyed it. Another part I enjoyed was when Tega was in prison and they took him to go and see Boyo, he and their Professor Rugged, and they started yabbing themselves. Like, that was hilarious to me.
This will don't do. This boy Jesus. Oh, boss, you know. Who don't know this mumu? Turn out fool now. This papa will be say. This boy will go about the motivate people. But ask her what. You not sure for now. Papa don't even know why you go come up. But I don't motivate this time. But I don't motivate this time before.
The fact that they were calling Boyo giant, and I was expecting to see, I love that what did they call it now? I can't remember, but I love that clashing of the name and his stature. It was really, really funny. I totally enjoyed that scene. Maybe I should put a clip somewhere. Yeah, but you guys should go and watch the movie. It's available on YouTube. Before I tell you who my favorite character was, I'm going to mention two things that stuck out to me. I don't know where to put them. They're not like my favorite scenes and they're not like teams. So let me just mention them here. The first one is Tunde and Fola had 2 years. That is the time that Tega was in prison, and I didn't understand that part where they were still talking about having to run away after this last deal. Like, you have 2 years before the whole setup and implicating Tega for the murder of his wife. Like, you could have made sure that everything was set in motion. So I didn't understand the fact that she was still in town. She said she was still hiding. Like, how difficult is it to run away, to get on a flight and disappear? Like, you set somebody up and you are still alive, but you're still living in the same house. Like, it didn't work for me. That part did not work for me. Like, you said you are dead. I don't know why that sounded so much, but you said you are dead and you are still living in the same house. Like, I don't understand. You are still living there. You did not run away. Like, I don't know. You had it. You had time to plan. Okay, let's say okay, you did not plan. It was just a spur of the moment when Tunde and Fola planned this thing. Yes, this guy has gone to prison now, and he was there for 2 years. So within that 2 years, you guys could not come up with something to make you disappear, change your name, change your location. Like, no, no, I don't believe that. It did not work out for me that way. Next one I'm going to talk about is when I began to suspect Tunde was when he came to visit Tega in the in prison, and it was like, my brother, I would rather die than betray you. I got you, that kind of thing. And then he said it again the second time, and I started suspecting, are you sure this guy doesn't have a hand in what has happened to to his friends? Yeah, so that's another thing I wanted to mention. This movie kind of gave me the vibe of Gone Girl. It's not as sophisticated as that one was, because that woman really planned the like, if you've not seen Gone Girl, I don't know where you can go and watch it, because I think I watched it on Netflix, but I'm not sure it's still available on Netflix. But like, that one was like really, really detailed. She took her time. So that's why I'm like, these people did not do proper planning. And 2 years is a long time for you to actually plan and make sure that you execute it well. Overall, I think the movie is a nice watch. I think it's about not up to 2 hours, but an hour plus. It's available on YouTube. Yeah, I've not talked about my favorite character. My favorite character is Professor Rugged, Uzor Arukwe. I am 100% an Uzor Arukwe fan. And one of the things I liked about him in this movie is that he didn't do this egotic thing that he's beginning to do a lot these days. I really loved the fact that he didn't do that. And I mean, he acted like not an illiterate, but like a street guy. Yeah, he acted like a street guy. The pidgin English was clean. He didn't have any accents, any kind of strong exotic accents in it. So I really, really like that. He was true to character. The jokes were landing, especially the last part where Tega went to see his son and was like, no cry, no man you be. It was saying no cry, no man you be, and he also spoke to Ini, and he was telling also so that you said they cry. I really like, he's just so true to his character, and I really enjoyed him in the movie. I could go on and on, but I'm just going to stop here. So yeah, that's it. That's my favorite character, Uzor Arukwe, 100% every time, every day. Like, yeah, big ups to you, big ups to him. That's what I have for you today. To Be a Friend, T.B.A.F is available on YouTube, Bimbo Ademoye TV. If you've not seen it, please go and see it. And if you've seen it, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe, like, share, comment. Like I always say, I really do enjoy reading your comments. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.